If you're interested in learning to trade on Betfair, then visit the BetAngel Academy, where you have detailed structured Betfair trading courses. Or why not visit our website where you can download a free trial of BetAngel Professional, but also visit the forum where you can get detailed images, examples and downloadable files. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon if you want notification of new videos as they're released. So I haven't recorded a trading video for a while. Probably a good reason for that, because there has been no racing on. But I thought what I would do this week is record one, and when I had that thought I just hit the record button, and this was the next race on the card. So I haven't selected this for any particular reason, and would consider this a sort of normal trade. So as you can see on this particular market, we're about 9 minutes out and we've got 4 ladders up. And the thing that catches my attention fairly quickly is the favourite here, because it's trading near a crossover point, as you can see. And also there's not that much money has been traded above it, and there's been a fair amount traded below it. So my guess is, well, and also if you look at where the money is traded here, you can actually see that there's a big chunk traded in and around that crossover point. But it looks like it's drifted, so in order to do that we need to have a look at the chart, and you can see it has drifted a bit. But the most important thing that you can see here, where I'm wiggling my mouse at that particular moment in time, is that it seems to stubbornly refuse to go below 3. So it looks like that's forming some sort of support at that particular level, and that would be safe to trade off of there, especially if the price comes in a bit, because it seems to have been backed in on a few occasions, but there's been no real momentum downwards. So I'm looking for an entry point based upon what happens within the market, keeping an eye on all of the other ladders here. And I'm sort of saying, well, if the price comes in a little bit, then we're expecting it to head back towards 3. And if we get a little bit of money matched around 3, it may be able to push a little bit higher. So we're looking at quite a narrow traded range, sort of somewhere between around sort of 270, 280 up to about sort of 330-ish, in around that area there. So yeah, we're going to enter just below where the crossover point is, because it doesn't seem to go much lower than this when it's actively trading at volume. And we're going to hope that the price heads up to the crossover point or beyond. So you can see here it's traded at 275 at the lowest point. It's just touched to down here, and that's our entry point to within the market. So I'm building a position here. You see me do this very often, where I will put a number of smaller trades in until I get a position within the market that I think is suitable for what I expect to get within this market. So I won't go in too heavy, because of course I have to exit it, but I'll put an amount in that I feel comfortable with, and then I'll start putting the exit positions in, which you can see that I'm doing here. And the reason I'm putting them here is simply because as the price begins to move up, they will get matched. We reduce our liability in the market, and we're more likely to achieve a profitable trade at that particular point. So I'm not particularly identifying an exit point here. I'm just basically putting trades in where I think probably the price is likely to go. So you can see it's traded as high as 345 here, but not much further. So our exit position has to be somewhere between 3 and 345. So I'm likely to spread orders out around that particular level. So you can see we have that position established within the market. You've got about £900 or so to fill. I've still got that stray order down at 288, but I'm not too fussed about that really. I'll probably cancel that in a minute. But there's a fair amount of money here. There's, 3 or 4,000, and you can see there's a chunk matched again at 3. So there's obviously a lot of activity around these 2 particular price points within the market. So those are going to be key. When it goes below 3, it seems that somebody wants to go in and lay it to head back towards 3. When it reaches 3, somebody backs it. So if we see a break up, it will be significant, but we're not thinking that a breakdown will be that significant. If it does break down, it will head down to roughly where our entry point is within the market. So that's how we're framing our risk on this particular trade. So it's really a case now of trying to see how high it can go and where we can get a decent average exit within this market. We're up against time to a certain extent, because we have to exit before the race actually gets underway, and therefore we need to keep an eye on time to make sure that we can exit at that particular moment in time. But the position's looking reasonably comfortable at the moment. We won't lose money if it goes all the way back to where it's traded at its lows recently. It's just a question of, do we think that it can get matched at much higher levels? So you can see I've popped an order in there. That's a little bit speculative, and we'll pop some orders in just below that. So you can see I've matched the number of unmatched bets with the amount of money that needs to be matched within the market, and I'm just going to have to sit here and keep an eye on it. If it now breaks below 3, I don't have to panic and get out quickly, because I've got a lot of room for maneuver in there. And you can sort of see that maybe, it's looking like, very early on it got much higher towards 350, but it's generally sat at around sort of 325. It hasn't really gone beyond there that much. So I'm looking at those orders wondering whether they're going to get matched. It's really going to be a case of how long do I want to hang on before those orders don't get matched, because if they don't get matched, then I'll just pull them down and get them matched at a lower price. But you can see here that the average range is well within our bounds, but there's money at 325 and 330 that's stopping it from going any higher. Looking at the other runners, you can see Star Cactus is being backed in, so that's helping push the price on the favourite out. But we do have a drift on the second favourite that's not sort of letting it go to its full extent. We'd really need to see money for the second favourite and the third favourite on the ladder, or the third ladder, depending upon how you want to look at this terminology. We need to see pressure on both of those to really get a significant move out on the favourite, and the fact is we're only seeing movement on one. So you can see I've pulled those orders a little bit closer down. I'm going to cancel the orders that are further out. I still think they could reach it, but we're sort of running out of time in order to get them matched. So my rule of thumb on this is always to make sure that I get a clean exit rather than just panic in the last few moments. There has to be some sort of structure to it overall. That's the best way to trade. Still got an outstanding trade. Sat there at 3.5. Was it going to touch it? Look at that. Oh, little bits are getting matched, and it has been matched. So we're clean out of our position now. It's £323 overall, or just under £100 fully hedged. But can you see the market did sort of get up to around the level at which we were at? Maybe we should have waited a little longer to get some of those positions matched. If we want to hedge this position now, depending upon where the price is going to go, you can see the hedged amounts on the left hand side, or we can click on the hedge button up here and that will hedge the trade for us. So we're just going to do that, and we get our trade out for a completely green total of 91.22. Could have probably got a little bit more out of that. We may have decided to leave this trade for a little bit longer because you can see it did reach a little bit higher, so maybe I was a bit impatient on this trade. It's impossible to be right all of the time, but you can see that it did have some support below it. It was a rather squiggly line out, but it did eventually reach that particular high again and traded as high as 3.5. So that would have been the perfect entry point. But of course, we're just going for a well-managed, half-decent exit on this particular occasion. So yeah, half-decent trade. I don't think there's anything particularly special on that trade. Could have probably done a little bit better. But nonetheless, I hope that's been helpful for you.